Is it just me, or does it smell like skunk in here all of a sudden?
Yeah, I smell it a little.
It's getting stronger, this skunk smell right now.
Maybe there's a legit skunk in here.
I know, like, the windows are open upstairs. Did a skunk just spray right into the window? What's going on here?
This is some great podcast material for
No,
the
but do you
listeners smelling
smell
along
that?
at home.
Yeah, motherfucker. We're gonna take it up a few notches right now. See if y'all can keep up. Wanna give a motherfucker some...
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 26 of the ScruffCast. I'm Dan.
And I'm John.
So, today, we're going to jump right into it from last week's question to ponder. But first, we have an email.
Yes, someone wrote into scruffcast@gmail.com.
That's right. So they have an answer for our question to ponder, so I'll read it here. Should we read the question to ponder first so people remember?
Yeah, that might make
Okay.
it easier for the listeners after you just blew out their eardrums.
All right, so the question to ponder from last week was, if you could spend a whole day with one person, dead or alive, a full 24 hours, who would you choose? So, I'll get into the email now. Hello, Dan and John. I'm loving your podcast. As for last week's question, oh my god, they say it right in the email. Who would you like to spend a week with? Well, here we go.
No, whoa. No, they misread the question. It says week.
Oh yeah, no, it's just 20. Yeah, it's 24 hours. Okay, besides the point,
we'll let
doesn't
it go.
matter. Okay, loving the podcast. Okay, well, I think for me it'd be Ellen DeGeneres. I think she would be fun to talk to and hang out with. Not to mention she gives away a lot of freebies.
This person's thinking.
True, your loyal Burlington listener. So,
Good answer.
it's time for us to answer the question to ponder. John, what do you got?
So I was thinking historical here, right? It said dead or alive. I figured maybe we go a little bit into the past. Or actually,
I went dead too, but you go. Yeah.
we're not going into this person's timeline. I guess we're bringing them into our timeline.
Okay.
But one of my thoughts was Leonardo da Vinci. He invented a lot of cool shit back in the day.
Oh my god,
That's an excellent pick, John.
I don't
Thanks,
like
Dan.
that.
No? Why?
I don't know.
Think of all the cool stuff he
I thought you
invented.
were come with something a little,
Well, I had a couple other thoughts. Like I was thinking, like Steve Jobs, like in the beginning of like the Apple days. Like,
yeah.
kind of invented some cool stuff.
24 hours though. Are you gonna get a good experience in 24 hours with Leonardo da Vinci?
Well, another thought I had was if it was just like, hardcore like party time. Because, okay, one of the things I was thinking
Kind of what I was thinking.
was if we could go like, if we were going back into this person's time, even though they're still alive, I was thinking like Slash, like early Guns N' Roses days.
Oh yeah.
That was one of my thoughts.
Oh, that is a good one.
Oh yeah, that'd be a wild ride.
Okay, so Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci, yeah,
that's
he's
yours.
the one I locked in already. I won't
All right,
party it
can't
up. We'll
change it
talk about physics.
Okay, mine would be Frank Sinatra,
Ooh, that's a
and
good
like
one.
the whole Rat Pack.
Yeah.
Oh man, think about the times they had.
That's a good one.
Those were some. Yeah, I thought that was a good one too.
Okay.
Wait, we have another. We have another person.
Yes, we had another
responded.
listener write into us. This question to ponder segment's quite the hit. I'm glad that we came up with it all by ourselves.
And where did they email us?
so,
Or where did they send this?
They
answer into?
messaged us through our Instagram account, the ScruffCast, because somebody else already has just ScruffCast. Anyways, they go on to say, "Hi guys, a long-time listener, first-time caller. My answer to your question last week would be Floyd Mayweather. The guy has more money than he knows what to do with, and I think a day with him would be an eye-opener to see all his extravagant toys, his luxury homes, and whatever else he has. I enjoy listening to your show every week. Keep up the good work." And he gives a little P.S. "Danny, I hear you're having a baby. Congrats, and all the best."
Oh well, thank you very much, listener. This listener seems to have some inside information.
A little bit of the inside
Oh,
scoop.
That's right. Fiance is pregnant. We're expecting a boy. I don't know. That's all I got. Oh, this episode's not going well so far.
All right, well, moving on. Their answer was Floyd Mayweather, which I think is a good pick because the listener talks about just how much money he has.
That's right.
So, on the ScruffCast, we don't just take things at face value. We did some research.
In fairness, they sent us the link for the research.
Yes, but we put in the time and watched the 10 to 12 minute YouTube video about how rich Floyd Mayweather is.
Exactly, yeah. So it's pretty interesting. This video just went through probably just a few of his extravagant purchases.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's way more. So one of them, first off, is a $4.8 million car. I don't even remember what the name of the car was, but there's only 2 made in the whole world.
And this was like the only one that was made for
America.
the U.S.
Yeah.
Where the other one was from for
Sweden.
Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the company
So
was
it's probably like
Sweden.
right-hand drive.
Another one was $400,000 in alligator skin bags.
As you do, of course.
Yeah, why not? A $300,000 Mercedes party bus. So, like, you know, like the Mercedes Sprinter vans. It's more so like a van than a bus. Like a massive van. It was one of those. And what did it have in it? It had like recliner seats in the back.
Recliner seats, satellite TV.
Satellite TV with like a 55-inch TV mounted.
All the seats had
Massaging?
massages built in.
And there was, each one had its own AC. Each seat.
Each
Which
seat,
is just
so you're not
insane.
left out in the heat.
It seems like that would cost a lot more than $300,000.
Yeah, surprised.
He had a massive mansion, which, whatever. He had 2 jets.
Yeah, so where it kind of got like a little funny to show you just how much money he has.
Yeah.
Because the jet was like $30 million, but he's a little paranoid about having too much weight on the jet. Because, like, his security guards are like, one of the guys is a pretty big dude. I'd be afraid of having that guy on my jet, too.
Yeah.
So he bought a second jet for his entourage to
Just
go
so,
on.
So there wouldn't be as much weight on his jet.
Yeah.
So if there's a
Exactly.
jet going down, it's all
It's not
those
his.
guys' jets. It's not his jet.
Yeah, and then, you know, it's not just any jet, but he had, like, solid gold, like, seatbelt buckles. You know, living in luxury here.
It is crazy. A few other things here. He had a watch that was worth $1.1 million.
Yeah, it's absurd.
$1.1 million.
But when you got that kind of money, I mean...
I know. He had a Miami mansion, which cost him $7.7 million, which really, in his lifestyle, isn't that much, considering he paid 1.1 for a watch.
No,
You know?
that's like current day like John Travolta money. John Travolta's spending that much money on stuff
no
nowadays,
issues,
right?
But the
With
crazy
leftover
thing
money.
is, the crazy thing is, he bought that. He paid for the house in cash.
Yeah, okay. In the video, it shows him just always hanging around with like literally Ziploc bags filled with cash.
He has like dollies just to carry his cash on.
Yeah,
like,
he
when
had
he's
a-
transporting it around.
He had a cart with like literal cash on it, just wheeling it up somewhere. I think when he was buying one of the cars, it's like, where's he getting all this cash? I know he's not getting like all his payments in cash from like his
how's
flight
he
promotion
getting it?
company.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know. There's got to be like special banks for people that rich. Like, I don't even know how.
I guess like you don't go to
They're
the
not going to RBC. You know what I mean?
yeah you can't just take 7.7 million out in cash.
Yeah,
Do we have
so
anybody who works in the banking industry listening to our podcast? Maybe they can give us some insight on how to make large withdrawals.
Because I would also
Because
be curious.
I
about
have
that.
like about 7.7 million sitting in my bank account, but I don't know how to withdraw it. So
Just trying to figure it out.
yeah,
What was interesting is how he got this money.
yeah,
And so, from what I can remember from the video, was he essentially bought his own contract. So I think it was back in the mid 2000s. He was going to fight somebody, and he was going to make $8 million off the fight.
not a bad payday.
Oh, it was Oscar De La Hoya. I think that's who he was fighting.
I think so.
He was going to make $8 million, which, yeah, that's a really good payday off this fight. Instead, he spent $750,000 to buy his contract from whatever company owned his contract.
Yeah, he like opted out
He opted out, paid that money, and made $20 million off that fight.
by creating his own company instead.
So he creates his own company, so he essentially cut out the middleman of this whole thing. So all the earnings come directly to him.
yeah, and then he can be the middleman for other people. And
Exactly.
of course, what does he call the company? The Money Team.
The money team. That's right. So, and that's interesting because even when he just fought Conor McGregor last year,
Yeah.
he made $275 million off that fight. And he was considered like the A fighter. I guess there's like
Yeah.
an A and B, so like who's going to bring in more people there to see Mayweather more so than McGregor, right?
McGregor still got a hefty payday though.
Oh, for sure. But what's interesting is he had to split his with the UFC because he's still technically under contract with the UFC. So the UFC got a ton of money for that too. I was reading
I didn't
that
know
earlier.
that.
Yeah. So with that fight, that took Floyd Mayweather's total earnings in his career to over $1 billion. There's only 2 other athletes that have that: Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods has hit over $1 billion?
Yeah, I guess it includes endorsements too, right?
Yeah.
Because his golf earnings obviously wouldn't be that high. But with
Well, and
endorsements,
Michael
I was
Jordan,
shocked
too.
to see that it was Tiger
Yeah.
Woods that was up there. Michael Jordan, not so much, but Tiger Woods, I was pretty shocked.
Yeah, because that would definitely be from endorsements and stuff. Because Well, and most sports aren't like boxing, right? Like you're playing like seasons and you get paid, out for a couple year contract or whatever.
Yeah,
in
you
boxing,
get paid a
it's
certain amount of money for
these huge events.
Yeah, there was like
Damn.
4.3 million pay-per-view subscribers to that Mayweather-McGregor fight. And it cost like, if you wanted the HD, I think it was like $100.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
In Canada, anyway.
And I can't imagine that there's many big pay-per-view events anymore. Like
no, I'm surprised.
Well, like
still
wrestling's still
exists.
around, but they have like their own WWE Network or something.
Yeah, I'm surprised pay-per-view is still like a thing that's around.
See, like in my mind, the ideal plan for the ScruffCast is eventually we have like the ScruffCast Network, and then you pay us to listen.
Like you subscribe to the
Yeah,
network.
you subscribe, but it costs you lots of money.
It's a 24/7 live stream of our lives.
I mean, like, hasn't this 10 minutes been like practically priceless so far?
All right, John.
All right,
Let's move on here. What do we got next?
All right, so we shall move on. So speaking of things that are priceless, I have a story about parents not keeping their eyes on their kids and their kids getting into trouble. So, from ABC News, parents face $132,000 claim after kid knocks over sculpture.
This already sounds terrifying.
Yeah, I'm already sweating over here. I'm getting a little stressed. Parents of a 5-year-old Kansas boy were hit with a $132,000 bill after their son knocked over an art sculpture on display at a local community center. Surveillance video captured the little boy reaching for the sculpture, which is called Aphrodite D. Kansas City, which is like a ridiculous name.
It's like the Americans trying to, European it up a little bit.
Aphrodite D. Kansas City.
Kansas City.
So the sculpture on display in the lobby of the Tomahawk Ridge Community Center in Overland Park, Kansas, when it toppled over. So a few days later, the family received a $132,000 claim from the city of Overland Park's insurance company, saying the piece had been damaged beyond repair. And then the claim said, "You're responsible for the supervision of a minor child. Your failure to monitor could be considered negligent," the insurance letter read. And then one of the parents of the child, the mother, said, "I was surprised, absolutely, more so offended to be called negligent. They were treating this like a crime scene."
I could see somebody getting offended by that, though.
Yeah, just telling you, hey, you're negligent. Look at this.
Negligent, give me a break. Like, my kids are just,
But on the other hand, if you know these sculptures sitting around, anyway,
there's more to the story, though. Yeah.
So they actually got the artist who made the sculpture, and he said it took him 2 years to create the sculpture, and it was listed for sale for $132,000.
So that's where they're getting this price from.
Yeah, he examined the piece himself, he said, and he concluded it could not be repaired. So then city officials went on to say the piece was not permanently attached, but it was secured to the pedestal with clips, and it was not an interactive piece.
Give me a break. You know what I find funny, though, is the sculptor. He's quoted here by saying, "It's beyond my capabilities and desires to rebuild it." So it's essentially like, I'm just too lazy to rebuild it, so just charge these parents $132,000 if you get yourself a new one.
If you spent 2 years on something, though, and some little kid comes by and knocks it over, you'd be like, ugh.
True. Yeah, I guess so.
And I definitely don't want to repair it for free. But on the other hand, it was good enough to get put in Overland Park's like Tomahawk Ridge Community Center or whatever, but he set this price of $132,000, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily what it's worth. Like, how many times do you go out to eat somewhere and there's like paintings on the wall and it's like, local artist price $500, and you're like, $500 for that? This could be like an extreme case of that where he's like, my masterpiece, Aphrodite D. Kansas City, $132,000.
That's the thing. It's like anything somebody makes or a product that's made, it's only worth what people are willing to pay for it. Like,
yeah, like how did he come up with that number too? That's very specific.
That guy could have spent 5 years and actually like forked out $300,000 in supplies.
Yeah.
And if somebody only wants to pay $50,000 for it, that's all he's gonna get. Like, you know what I mean?
So he set the price. The kid knocked it over, and he's like, "That's how much it's worth. Now you owe." Which is like, I guess, with a piece of art is very sort of subjective, right?
Very.
So then, the parents of the child went on to argue the sculpture should have been better secured, and they disputed the claim that the child wasn't being supervised. But there's actually a video of this happening, and you see, kids kind of running around, and the adults are sitting there like on a couch nearby. Nearby meaning like 15 feet away. Right?
Yeah,
but
the kid's still in.
Yeah, but if you do the sculptures there, shouldn't you be like, "Hey, Timmy, get over here"?
But the thing is, though, like, this is just a community center. Why is there 100... Like, and this is what the parents go on to explain, too. It's like, why is there a $132,000 sculpture at a community center where there's gonna be kids everywhere? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so they actually... one of the parents goes on to say, no one would ever expect that to come into a place that kids are invited and have to worry about a $132,000 piece of art falling on their child. I like how she does a little spin around.
I know.
What if that
it
fell on
almost
my
fell
child?
on my child.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll be suing you. And then they go on to say, because he didn't maliciously break that. It fell on him. It was not secure. It was not safe at all.
Dun, dun. So maybe they turn this around, you know?
Maybe
the
they sue the
flip it
community center.
and sue this place for not properly
Securing
the sculpture, which would be kind of interesting. No, I get the parent side of it, though. Like, why? Why is there going to be this sculpture there? $130,000 sculpture in a community center.
Well, in a community center is fine, but, like, not secured by anything more than clips. Like, not secured past the point that a 5-year-old
like a glass case around it.
Not secured past the point a 5-year-old can knock it over.
Jesus.
No bueno.
How do they find, I don't know, how do they find these people to send them this invoice? Like, when we were back in Chicago,
yeah,
we went to the art institute, or
yeah,
whatever it was. And there's like sculptures all around, and there's all these, you know, plates and whatnot, and like you could just easily go poof, knock one over on the floor, smashes everywhere, and then you can just run out.
And these things, like, they don't even
how
have
the
prices.
hell are they ever gonna find me?
Yeah, these things don't even have prices. They're like priceless. Right? You could just, they're like old statues and stuff. Like old statues, right? You knock it over and it's like, damn, Aphrodite, now she got no head.
Yeah, but like how? But I could just run out of there, and how are they ever gonna find me? When you go there, you just buy a ticket. You're not, you know what I mean? Writing all your information down, telling them, like they can check the camera and see my face, but I'm out of the country a day or two later, right?
Yeah, I mean, even in that case, let's say they track you down. They're like, we found you. You're the one who pushed the statue over. Is it like a money issue, what you're going to pay for the statue? No, because these are like historical pieces, right?
Yeah,
so
there's no
it's
room.
almost more like a criminal offense. I don't know. How does that work?
Yeah,
I can't imagine we've had anybody who's ever gotten into a scenario like this that listens to the podcast.
No, probably not. But how does this stuff not happen more often?
Yeah, that's a good question.
You know what I mean? You just get some douchebag walks into a museum, boom, 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 starts knocking everything over. Like,
Yeah,
how
like
does that not happen more
has
often?
a bad day, girlfriend breaks up with him or something. That's it. I'm going ham on the Modern Museum of Art.
Yeah, like how I'm surprised there's not more stories like that, you know? People knocking stuff over all the time.
Maybe even like accidentally, right? I mean, look how fat people are getting nowadays. You turn over, your behind hits a statue, boom, there you go. See you later, Zeus.
I really hope that these people don't have to pay that $132,000.
I feel like this is going to be a story where we have a nice follow-up in a couple episodes.
I hope so.
If you're the guy who made the sculpture, I don't think you care. You're just like, I want my money, whether it's from the community center or from these people.
Well, I would assume that the piece was already purchased. Maybe not.
Well, it says they got a claim from the insurance company of the city.
Yeah, so it was probably already
Yeah.
purchased by the city, or so this guy, like, the sculptor's already been paid. He doesn't care anymore.
Yeah,
he's just like, I'm definitely not fixing this thing.
Yeah, which is why when they go back to him, it's
with
outside of my abilities or my desire.
Yeah. Is it just me, or does it smell like skunk in here all of a sudden?
This is some great podcast material for the
No, but
listeners
do you
smelling
smell
along
that?
at home. Yeah, I smell it a little. Something stinks.
Is there a skunk in the house? What's going on here?
I certainly hope not.
Oh, okay. Well, moving on here.
All right, speaking of things that are stinky. You like that transition?
I guess. I don't know what you're about to say next, so.
So, we were just,
Oh, it's getting stronger, this skunk smell right now.
Maybe there's a legit skunk in here.
I know, like, the windows are open upstairs. Yeah, skunk just spray right into the window? What's going on here?
I don't know. All right, well, for the listeners smelling along at home,
No,
send
they
us
can't
tweets
smell
at
it.
ScruffCast and tell us what you think about the skunk. All right, so speaking of things that stink, in Japan, there's a water company, and one of their employees, he's been stinking. He hasn't been putting in his official 80 hours of work each week as they expect over there. So, from thedailymail.com. Japanese water company apologizes for worker who took 3-minute lunch breaks once a week.
Oh, boy.
A Japanese water company has issued a video apologizing to its customers and docked a worker's pay after he was caught leaving his desk for lunch breaks. The 64-year-old male worker from Kobe City Waterworks Bureau.
I feel like we should break this down as we go. You know?
Like, just to comprehend it all?
So right now, they're apologizing to his customers and docking the worker's pay because he was caught leaving for lunch breaks, which... Maybe not in Japan, but here you're entitled to lunch breaks.
It's pretty standard here.
So already this doesn't seem like too much is going on. And they're apologizing for it. The next part, he's 64 years old. This poor old man, you know what I mean?
Like, ideally, here in North America, you'd be like 1 year away from retiring at 65.
Yeah.
Like, he's almost there.
This guy's just trying to get a bento box.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So the company, Kobe City Waterworks Bureau. So he left his desk 26 times for about 3 minutes over the course of 7 months to go to a shop nearby and buy a bento box. So they must have done some sort of internal like investigation, or like they were counting, right? So they were like, "Oh, he got up. Okay, he got up today. That's very strange." Then the next day they're like, "Oh, he got up again." Then like the next week, "Oh, that marks 3 times." And they were counting. Then they hit 26, and they're like, "That's it.
What's nuts is
get over here."
That's not even once a week.
No.
For 3 minutes, not even once a week, he just went to go eat some lunch.
So, yeah, he was taking he was gone from his desk for 3 minutes. You know, this guy's probably sprinting next door to get this bento box and come back before anybody notices. So, apparently his employers took a dim view of his behavior, saying he had frittered away company time in the pursuit of food. Several of the company's senior executives appeared on camera to make an apology. It's like, this is absurd.
So
like,
extra.
Yeah, like in Japan, the work ethic there is very, like, it's just a completely different mindset over there.
Yeah, which is weird because I didn't think it'd be like that over there.
Like, I knew it was pretty hardcore, but like, I didn't think it was like to the point where like this company's putting out like an official apology video.
Like on they're like broadcasting it on TV. This
yeah,
official
like
apology.
to their customers saying, "We're very sorry. Our employee's been taking 3 minutes of the day from his desk 26 times over the past 7 months to buy a bento box." Like, this is absurd.
Exactly. And to even further the point of how much they work over there. So it says here, nearly a quarter of Japanese companies have employees working more than 80 hours of overtime a month, often unpaid. So 80 hours of overtime a month.
So it's like in a 4-week.
So you're
month,
thinking 60 hours a week.
Yeah,
they're working. That's insane. And then on top of that, it says 12% of these employees are breaking the 100 hours a month mark. I'm assuming it's 100 hours of overtime a month.
Yeah.
And then workers are entitled to 20 days leave a year. So I guess like 4 weeks vacation. Currently only 35%, about 35% don't take any of it.
Not a single one of their 20 days.
That's crazy.
Like, there's a screenshot of the video here, right? And it's obviously got subtitles, but they're all in Japanese. But there is one line that's translated, and you can just see a guy who I'm assuming is like maybe the CEO of this water company, and it says, "It is very regrettable that such scandal has happened," which is like the level. Like, this poor employee, like the shame he must feel,
being crucified right now.
Yeah, just being called out in this like public video by this company.
Oh, I bet you this guy's gonna be one of those Japanese guys that goes to the top of the building and jumps, man.
Like, they have a really big problem over there with suicide, actually.
Yeah,
because like the work ethic there is just like that's expected of you is insane, right? Like, I actually read a survey recently that said 1 in 4 people in Japan this is obviously like a smaller subset that they surveyed, but 1 in 4 people they surveyed admitted to wanting to kill their boss.
I mean, that's not that funny, but like, it's kind of funny.
But because it sounds so outlandish, right? Because like
there,
here you're like, I hate my boss, but like you never think like I want to kill him.
No,
but
like what I thought like was like kind of crazy is like I thought like the Western world or whatever, right? United States, America, Canada, United States and America, the two those two separate countries. I always assumed like that was like almost the highest level of work ethic. You know what I mean? Like the people like, putting in hours and stuff like that, right? You go to like the big cities and stuff, and it can get like pretty intense. Whereas like you look at like Europe,
very lax,
and it's much more. Maybe not so much like in England and stuff like that, but you go to like Spain or whatever it may be, right? and it's like just way less there. There was a story, I think I may have told you this, but my dad told me it. His work or someone was shooting a commercial for, Mio, those little squirt things that you put in the water.
The water
shooting
flavors.
a commercial. So they were going, I think it's a European company. So they were in Spain, I think. And so it was like during the middle of the week, so they went to an agency to find actors to shoot this commercial. And they went there and they said, yeah, we're looking for some actors. And the guy said, well, you're not going to find anybody. Nobody's working today. And they said, well, like, why? He's like, well, it's a nice day. Everybody's out at the beach.
Living the
Like
life.
in the middle of the week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a nice day. We're just going to go to the beach. And you hear stories about, like, in Sweden or Switzerland, they have, like, 2-hour lunch breaks where you can go take a nap, have some lunch, you know what I mean? And then come back to work.
Yeah, because they've done studies before and actually shown that stuff like that ends up
Being more beneficial.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Your workers are more productive, which I could see the case for that.
But it seems like, in Japan, it's just like a whole other...
They're looking at us like
Whole other
we're
world.
going to the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
The way we look at Europe is like the way Japan looks at us.
Yeah.
Brings great shame onto our company.
Such a scandal. We're here. The scandals are like another Me Too things going on. It's
I
like,
know.
we got to fire our CEO.
Exactly.
They're putting kids in cages at the borders. Like, this crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
But there, it's like, it's great shame. He took 3 minutes from his desk.
26 times over a 7-month period.
About 2 out of every 3 weeks to go by. But, like, this poor guy.
Yeah. Just getting roasted.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
I'm surprised they didn't fire him.
Maybe they did. Like, to cause him such great shame that they got to put on this whole video
docked his
production.
pay, which is, even then, that's insane.
So, like, are they
but-
getting so, like, granular that they're, like, 3 minutes by 26? Okay, how many hours would that be? Dock the pay, figure out the taxes, blah, blah, blah. Like,
I guess.
I have to
Yeah,
imagine.
that's probably it. So are they just, like, is it company policy to say, like, you don't have any breaks?
I guess, like, you're not allowed to leave your desk
Because, like, in fairness,
at all?
then...
It's like, he's the only guy?
But I guess, like, if you sign up for this job and you're not allowed to take breaks, I guess technically, in fairness, the company has the right to dock you. You know what I mean? But
Like, do they not have the law? Well, I guess they don't have, like, laws over there, because here there's, like, certain laws where, like,
labor laws, and
you're allowed, like, a minimum of, like, 15 minutes for 4 hours
mandatory
or something, whatever,
mandatory
right?
break. Yeah, that is crazy though.
It's absurd.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of absurd, moving on to the next one here. It's like the dealer's choice. I don't know which one to give him next. All right, we'll go with absurd. We'll talk about Toys R Us. Now, many of our Canadian listeners, and I guess North American listeners as well, know Toys R Us is like, the big toy chain from back in the day. But earlier this year, they announced they were going into bankruptcy.
Yeah.
At least in the United States, and I believe in Australia, but here in Canada, the stores are still open for now.
Yeah.
A little piece of our childhood still around. So, things are shutting down in Australia for Toys R Us, and like a lot of customers out there are left with these gift cards, right? They maybe got for Christmas or whatever. So Toys R Us, they can't just go down with, and take the loss of money. They got to go down swinging and get every little jab in there. So, customers that want to use their gift cards after July 5th, which is the date which Toys R Us will stop accepting them in Australia before they go down, have to spend the amount of money that's on the gift card in like their actual cash as well.
So in order to use a $100 gift card, you got to spend $200.
Yeah, you got to spend $200. So $100 on the gift card, and then match the value with your own money. So rightfully so, people are, complaining because this is kind of ridiculous. Right?
Yeah.
If anything, Toys R Us should just be taking the loss and maybe like letting you exchange your gift cards in, right, or something. I don't know.
I know what you mean.
At least the goodwill.
Yeah, because I guess like the thing is technically like that money's already been paid to Toys R Us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they already got
so
their
anybody
money.
who comes in and spends those gift cards, they're not making any more money. But I guess they want to go out making a little bit more.
Yeah, to get rid of all their stuff. Because like, what's gonna happen to all these toys?
I know. Yeah, I know. But like, I was trying to think like, oh, they're gonna piss a lot of people off. But like, why do they care? They're closing in 2 weeks anyway. You know what I mean? Like, why do they care?
Yeah, so customers have not been happy, and then they've been leaving some comments here. And I like one where they phrased it all about like the kids. Your gift voucher policy is the most ridiculous policy I have ever seen at any store, said Mark Ethan on Facebook. Whoever thought of this idea needs to be sacked. Well, I think they're all getting sacked because the store's closing. Mm-hmm. I would never expect a child to spend $50 just so they can use a $50 gift voucher that was given to them as a gift. So I like how he phrases it as like a kid. Like, think of the children. You're making them spend an extra $50.
The kid's not going to be spending.
The kid's
an
not
extra
spending
$50.
anything. Here's another good one. What do you think we are? Stupid? You need to refund all gift vouchers to all people who have purchased them as gift. It's not a gift if people have to spend money to use it. These people got some pent up rage.
Yeah, like they're right, but also like they're going out of business. They don't care.
Yeah, like, it's all about that fiduciary duty.
Yeah,
Right? You got to do what's good for the business.
yeah, I guess.
Like if we had ScruffCast gift cards for like merchandise that doesn't exist and we were shutting down. I like the sounds of this policy. I'm just saying.
Evil.
Yeah. So, not a huge story, but I thought there was some, witty comments there.
Interesting enough. Yeah, it's pretty douchey, but I mean, they're going out of business. It's whatever. I'm surprised. Why wouldn't they go the opposite way with it? 50% off the whole store. You see, like, stores close down. You know what I mean? Remember when Target was here for that brief time? Or sorry, no, Zellers. When Zellers was like leaving.
Yeah, Target bought
Target
out all the retail locations.
I remember at that period of time, you could walk into Zellers and literally buy anything. You want to buy one of the racks, you could buy it.
Like, you know how when you walk into like a big retail store like that, sometimes they'll have like a Bristol board type thing that has that week's flyer.
Yeah.
And like sometimes they actually have them in like these big plastic things where you can sort of leaf through the pages. They had that filled with pictures of stuff from the break room with like the clock, the desk, the chairs back there, and
you
it's
could
like
buy it all.
You could buy literally everything.
Yeah, I remember we walked in there one time and there was it was like maybe a week or two before they like officially closed, and we found a mannequin arm. And we walked up to the guy. We're like, "How much for this?" He's like, $2." So we bought it.
Really?
Yeah. We were just like, "Oh, okay, cool, like whatever." And then like they had this.
Did they like ring you up through the register?
Yeah, I guess so. Like
they had to print out a
the
barcode
guy
for
said it was $2. She's like, "Okay," you know what I mean? We were just laying there on the ground.
Yeah.
And, like I bought this it's like a big bench that they just had in the store for like somebody to sit on. Right? It wasn't for sale or anything. I was like, "How much do you want for this?" He's like, "Oh, $5." So I bought this bench. That was it. I ended up just throwing it out afterwards, but
it was just the novelty of being able to buy it.
Exactly, and walk out with it.
Look at this bench; it's for sale.
Yeah, so I'm surprised they don't go that route instead of charging people more to come shop. Just be like, hey, 50% off everything. 70% off everything. Just blow everything out of the store.
Yeah, at this point, it seems like they don't give any
care.
shits. Yeah.
Oh well, whatever.
Well, I guess you could say this policy is pushing people away. Speaking of pushing people away,
oh, that was good.
Saudi Arabia moves forward with a plan to turn Qatar into an island. Saudi Arabia is moving forward with a plan to dig a canal that would physically enshrine its year-long rift with Qatar by turning the emirate from a peninsula bordering the kingdom into an island, the Saudi media reported on Tuesday. 5 international companies that specialize in digging canals have been invited to vie for the project, with bids closing on Monday and the winner to be chosen within 90 days. The canal should be completed within 1 year of work starting. It said, within 1 year of work starting. It said, what? This is some bad grammar in this article. Definitely not my reading at all. The report was also carried by Saudi News. Why is this article wasting time telling me who's carrying the reports? And now I'm wasting your time, listeners. The project, if it is carried out, would geographically extend Qatar's isolation from Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Egypt after they cut trade and diplomatic ties with the emirate last year. The allies accuse Qatar of supporting terrorism, meddling in their affairs, charges that Qatar denies. So, basically, the gist of the story is, Saudi Arabia is like, Qatar, I'm sick of your shit. I'm just going to dig a giant canal and literally turn you into an island.
Yeah, so first they cut off all trade with this country. We hate you, we're going to cut off all the trade. And then they just took it a step further. We hate you so much, we're literally just going to dig out our border from yours.
I'm tired of looking at the map.
Let the water flow in and you're going to be your own island.
I'm tired of looking at that goddamn map and you're right next to me. I need some space.
Yeah, how big is it really going to be? You know what I mean?
So it says here it's 60 kilometers long and 200 meters wide. So not too wide, but a decent
that's a long enough
distance.
stretch. This is going to take a long time to complete.
Yeah. And it's going to take about $750 million, the cost of the project. So it makes me think of back in the day when castles had moats around them, right?
Yeah.
To You just raise up the drawbridge, and you're like, I don't want to be bothered.
You keep
I've got a
people
moat.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, man, you really gotta hate these people
you gotta
to spend the money. And I like how it's like, it's not just Saudi Arabia. Everybody hates Qatar because they've got like 5 different companies vying for the project. Like, contestant number 1.
Yeah, this is a
Would
big
you
event.
like to take the canal?
People are bidding on you know.
Like the Bachelorette. Like, which one's gonna get the rose? You know?
This is it right
to get
here.
to dig the canal.
You hate someone so much, you just
Literally changing the world map
yeah.
to push these people away.
Just to push them a little further. And, really, you're not pushing them. 200 meters of water crosses you now.
But it makes me wonder, like, how far, like, how big of a canal could you dig before it's like you're just making their country smaller?
I guess they have to take off from their own land. I don't think you could take off from, Qatar's land.
I guess, but, like...
Qatar?
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 I don't know. But...
It's a stupid name, too.
But... Like, what are they going to do, right? Like, if you're Qatar, you're like, whoa, I don't want to just become an island now.
That's the thing. Like, don't they have any say in this at all,
Well, they're going to start digging, and then they're going to get their own, like, probably, like, slave workers over there to come over and, like, start pouring sand
Start
in.
filling the hole.
Yeah, it's like, you want to dig? I'll show you this. I got sandbags over here. I'm dumping them in. Take this. It's like a year-long battle. A little bit of water comes in, and then they pour more sand in.
They pour some more sand.
Yeah. Oh, we'll show you. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Can't imagine hating somebody that much. Though, maybe we can hire whichever company this is to divide us from Quebec.
Yeah, they
dig right through.
They have a lot of beef with us, and I believe
extend the St. Lawrence River just all the way around Quebec.
Just their own little floating island. I believe they were number 1 on your list for scum, and the official ScruffCast listings of places that are shitholes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Speaking of shitholes, you might remember a couple weeks ago, two episodes ago, we talked about Marineland being a hellhole. Was the title of an article we read. The majority of the article focused on how terrible the owner of Marineland was, and just like the crazy stuff he did, like punching a sea lion in the face and beating him up, dragging him into the back of his car, just like absurd stuff. So we've had a couple cases of things on the podcast we've talked about before, which were not necessarily like super recent topics, but then like breaking news came out about them like within a week or 2 or so. So the first one was one of our eventually banned topics was Ticketmaster, where then they came out with some newer laws talking about ticket scalping and stuff. Mm-hmm. Another one was we talked about in the NHL if they did like parents trips, how come they're only dad trips and not mom trips? And then
they did a
that
mom's
same
trip.
week they're like, oh, they're doing a mom's trip. So
but there's a new trend coming along
new trend,
now.
and
it's a scary trend.
This one's scary.
We're not interested in this trend.
Yeah, buckle up. So, Marineland founder John Holler dead
at 83. I mean, his time was coming anyway. But still.
When was the last time people talked about him on an international media show like the ScruffCast?
That's right. But this isn't the only person we've talked about that is now dead.
They're not only the old ones, Dan, the young ones too. So, you may remember, this might be like maybe 4 or 5 episodes now, where we talked about Spotify's...
I think it was a long time ago.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter.
I don't remember. Listeners, write in and tell us, scruffcast@gmail.com. We talked about Spotify's policy where they were taking music down because of things artists did in their personal lives or whatever, right? So
it mostly dealt with R. Kelly, I think.
Mostly R. Kelly, but there was another artist. It was a rapper, XXX Temptation, and we were like, how the hell do you pronounce this guy's name? We didn't know much about him, had never heard of him. Well, apparently, he got killed in a drive-by shooting.
This is getting a little freaky.
It's a little spooky.
We like the positive turn, where we complain about things and things were turning out positive.
Yeah. We were like, oh, those Ticketmaster, they suck. And then, legislation willed itself into existence.
Exactly.
Right? And then we're like, oh, how come it's only dad's trips and not mom's trips? And then all of a sudden it's like, mom's trips.
Then we got some voodoo curses.
Yeah, I don't like this.
This is not what we wanted.
We got some bad juju.
This Marineland guy, he's a bad guy, but I mean... Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world this guy died, to be honest with you.
Is this the sort of power the ScruffCast holds? If so, I'm uncomfortable.
It will lead in... no, actually, never mind. Take that back. All right. I was going to say it's going to lead into our next week's question to ponder, but
possibly,
not really.
depending on what your answer is.
Depending on what your answer is. Okay, well, I think that's about it. That's all we got to talk about today.
Yeah, all killer,
God.
no filler. Pun intended.
Okay, so why don't we start off with our question to ponder for next week?
So, question to ponder, which came to us from the same loyal Burlington listener
Yeah.
that told us they would like to hang out with Ellen DeGeneres, get free stuff. For a week, they extended from 24 hours because they wanted more free stuff.
Yeah.
They were breaking the rules here. So that listener goes on to say, question to ponder for you guys. If you could do something illegal and get away with it, what would it be and why? Ooh, this is a
could be a
juicy
good one.
one.
Yeah, we get
This
some.
is a juicy one. So listeners out there, I know you want to tell us about the illegal stuff you'd like to do. Email us. We're not going to snitch. We won't read your names. Just let us know.
I already have mine.
There's so many good answers, but the listeners got to wait until next week.
Yeah, gotta wait till next week.
Would like to let us know what illegal act you would like to do that you could get away with, what would it be and why? You can email us, scruffcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter, @scruffcast. Follow us on Instagram. Send us messages on there like the listener did this week, @thescruffcast. If you're listening on YouTube right now, I'm sure you're laughing at the hilarious thumbnail I probably made for this video. Give us a thumb up. Leave a comment. You can even just comment your answer to the question to ponder. You don't even have to write in. I'll go search the answers from you guys because I know you guys can be lazy sometimes.
We'll read them out.
We'll read them out.
You got to be a little nicer to these listeners, John. Sometimes you get a little sassy.
Well, the listeners are the one giving us the question,
I'm gonna be honest with you.
putting in the work.
We need them. They don't need us.
Damn, this is an internationally acclaimed podcast. We have 9 reviews on iTunes. 5 out of 5 stars.
All 9?
Yeah.
Oh wow,
And only one of them is me.
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well,
You can't afford not to listen.
all right. That's it for this episode of the ScruffCast, episode 26. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you next week.
Got me like, oh, as I'm watching her go. All I'm thinking is, oh, damn, that bad thing. I can tell you're really good at distracting.